So another interesting piece from Toy Fair uh, surfaced, and while it's not directly related to Transformers, I feel that it does have a domino effect that will affect the brand. It was announced that Hasbro recently acquired the rights to the Power Ranger franchise from Saban, which was originally held for a very long time by Bandai of America. And
Yep.
this is a big deal because uh, Bandai of America for the longest time has been kind of slipping out of the American uh, collective when it comes to just in its existence. Bandai of America, their DVD company, kind of is non-existent now. They don't do Bandai of America DVDs anymore, which when it was really a thing, when Gundam was in full fledged and stuff. Because Gundam isn't a thing in America from a porting standpoint, meaning like, there's no Gundam model kits or toys in Toys R Us anymore. When there was a time at one point when G Gundam was out and Gundam Wing, and they were even bringing over some of the UC Century Mobile Suit in Action figures and repackaging them and selling them here. So Gundam isn't in America either. So Bandai really, at that point, when you go into Toys R Us right now, the only Bandai of America brand that was really kicking around of any predominance was Power Rangers. And now that's not going to be the case. So what's this is a big blow to Bandai of America, and there's a lot of questioning considering that Bandai of America might not even be present at Toy Fair come Saturday. So that might mean that Bandai of America might be on its last leg. Now, what does it have to do with Transformers, though? It's the thing is that Hasbro already has a lot of very strong boy brands, if you will. Their boy brand division, just to name a few things, between Transformers, Star Wars, Marvel, and then going on to their lesser brands that they're trying to build up with GI Joe, Micronauts, and then the fact that they partially have somewhat the branding with Pokemon, with through their Tommy, stuff. They have all the power already.
Yeah, pretty
By
much.
taking Bandai of America out of the game and having one last piece of boy brand competition, in the sense that now they don't have to worry about Power Rangers because they own it, makes me wonder: is there a reason to now make Transformers better? It's the classic. I mean, for listeners who aren't wrestling fans, everyone always say the day wrestling died was when WCW got bought out by the WWF, later WWE, because now there was no more competition, and a lot of people feel that's when product went down. When you have no one chasing you, there's no reason to run. You know, you just start walking instead. And
Yeah.
my fear is that now if Bandai of America has nothing to combat with, and Mattel, which has been struggling with He-Man, and they brought over Metcard
Hmm.
through Sonokong, and even that didn't really get the attention that they wanted it to. There's only so many other companies that could really be Bandai's, excuse me, not Bandai, Hasbro's rivalries here. So the Power Ranger thing is a big loss. It's a big, big loss, and it really makes me wonder. Number one, what they're going to do with Power Rangers, but what worries me even more is it's not so much what they're going to do with Bandai. It's
Yeah.
excuse me, not with Bandai, with Power Rangers, is that now they're going to have to kind of share everything under this umbrella, and the focus now, because now it's like, okay, so Bandai was doing their thing with Power Rangers, with the adult
Yeah.
brand stuff, with the legacy stuff and everything, and they were catering to older fans and younger fans. The legacy stuff was a lot of high quality, heavy die cast and everything. Whatever.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Cyberverse and how kind of the stuff was lower quality and everything like that, and where they're going with the brand, uh, the mainline brand for going into 2018. I really wonder how they're going to handle Power Rangers. And it makes me wonder too, because this doesn't Bandai of America might not have Power Rangers anymore, but that doesn't mean that Bandai of Japan has lost anything with the Sentai brand, which is what Power Rangers is over there. So It's going to be very interesting to see how everything is handled. I will say this for Power Ranger fans: this will probably mark the end of ported over toys. Anyone who got used to getting a Zord that was the Bandai mold from Japan, that won't be the case anymore. Probably Hasbro is going to have to remake their own mold of the Zord of the accompanying series, or alternatively, and this has been a conversation that's been existing for 10 years now, it might be finally time that there's is going to be that Power Ranger animated series. And it might be an
Mm,
original creation on the Hasbro side of things. That way, they don't have to rely on anything that could be, infringing on stuff that currently Bandai is doing in Japan. If they're doing a unique
mm.
series with unique designs, unique Zords, and everything, why not? That's the safe way to do it. Um,
Wasn't there some kind of I guess some kind of beef with Toei, and they'll purposely make a series that wouldn't translate well into
they
a
were
Western
they were
audience?
having problems in the past where the past couple of series and this is something even Aaron Archer discussed when it came to Transformers also, is that the past couple of series, the past couple of years, have been very difficult to translate over. And they still did in the end, but like, when Shinkanger came over, which was known as Power Ranger Samurai, they were like, oh
Hmm.
boy, like, how are we going to do that? And when you watch the American version, it is kind of ridiculous how they really they really did it. And then same thing with the recent one, Tokuger, which is very train based.
Hmm.
Something, trains are a big deal in Japan, but not so much so in America. Like, we do have
Yeah.
trains, we know what they are, but in Japan it's a big deal. Here it's.
Yeah, like the trains are a big deal there because they engineered them, and there was like a lot of Japanese know-how, and it really connects the whole country together because you could ride from one end to the other. Like they're very, very proud
Indeed.
of
Yeah,
their train system for sure.
and that's why. So it's something that like totally is, a big issue with them and everything. And so the way that I see it is, I think that they're probably, again, they've been talking about doing an animated series for years, and it's just it never got the legs to do it. And I think this is the first time ever that this might be the case. And if that is the case, now Hasbro is sharing, you know, manpower, time, planning, all these different things for a new brand. My only other
That
question, real,
that next Hasbro movie, Power
yeah.
Rangers,
Well, I think, and that's the next thing. That's the one.
teaming up with
That's the one
Micronauts.
thing, and I'm pretty sure sooner or later we'll get the answer. What kind of spurred all of this separation and then purchase to begin with? Was it the failure from the previous Power Ranger movie that just came out? Was the Legacy line not doing as well as they'd hoped? Did they think that the current stuff that was on the shelves right now wasn't doing well? I didn't think it was doing too terrible. Maybe the movie really was the thing that kind of broke the straw on the camel's back, or the straw that broke the camel's back. Excuse me. It could be one of many things. I mean, it's hard to say. I'm not like super in the know behind the scenes when it comes from the
Yeah,
Power Ranger
we're
side of
not in
things.
those we're not in those investors groups
No,
meeting.
but even then, like, I mean, I fancy myself a big Power Ranger and Sentai fan, but I'm not like in the know of the background stuff, like what's really going on in terms of sales and everything. Transformer stuff,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Their investors meeting.
yeah.
Like I mean, this wouldn't show up in a Hasbro's investor meeting this year because they just put it out there.
But
That's already coming
I'll tell
packed.
you one thing though. Now that Hasbro owns it, get ready for your Power Ranger Transformer crossover. It's finally going to happen. You know, maybe we'll get those G2 color Dinobots finding the Megazord dinosaurs. I don't know, but yeah, no, like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen now. The next thing is now Boom Studio owns the rights to the comic books, so I guess IDW is going to have to snag those up too.
Mm.
It's interesting. It's interesting, and that again, I brought it up because I feel that this is something that's going to affect Transformers later in the future. Because this is a big deal. That's not a small brand. That was the brand that took a hold of the world for quite some time back in the day.
Yeah.
So 25 years ago. So we'll see what happens.